Sean Diddy Combs has just filed a lawsuit yesterday for $100 million alleging defamation against NBC Universal, Peacock, and Ample LLC, three business entities that Sean Diddy Combs is alleging is responsible for the making and the releasing of a documentary where Diddy Combs is alleging that the documentary is asserting that he's a serial murderer as well as a sex trafficker. Now, this lawsuit is coming directly off the heels of the historic Kendrick Lamar performance that we saw at the Super Bowl halftime show. And a lot of people send me messages asking me if Drake can now sue Kendrick for defamation as well. So let me just go over the defamation law really quickly. Both of these lawsuits are in New York, so let me give you the New York law, defamation law. Even though most states' defamation laws are very similar, let me just be particular here to New York. Now, New York's defamation law, it states that for a plaintiff to succeed in a defamation case, the plaintiff must prove pretty much four things. Number one, there was a defamatory statement that was asserted factually. Number two, the statement has to be regarding the plaintiff. You have to actually know he or she is referring to the plaintiff. Number three, that the defendant published the statement, the defamatory statement, to a third party. And number four, that alleged false statement caused the plaintiff damages. And there are some defamations where you don't have to prove damages, which is called defamation per se, but we won't deal with that right now. But let's just deal with the simple thing. Those four things must be shown for a plaintiff, whether it's Drake or Diddy or anybody else, to succeed in a defamation case. But let me explain something. There was a famous case called New York Times versus Sullivan, where the Supreme Court of the United States stated that when it comes to defamation for public officials and public figures, you can't just merely state that the defendant was negligent in producing these factual false statements. You have to show that the defendant knew. It's called actual malice. That's the standard, actual malice. That the defendants knew that the statements were false and they published them anyway with reckless disregard. So that's what Diddy is alleging here. That's a very, very high standard for public figures to sustain, because how are you going to prove what the defendant knew? That is very, very tough. That's going to be intense discovery, which is something you do after the lawsuit is filed. You have to have that discovery. That's going to be intense, and that's a lot of fact-finding issues you're going to have to look for. But let's just start off with Drake's first, because Drake's lawsuit against UMG regarding defamation is already out there, and so I'm going to assume he would allege the same thing against Kendrick if he were to bring a defamation case against Kendrick. I'm sure if Drake's brings a defamation case against Kendrick, Kendrick's attorney would first and foremost start off with, number one, was Kendrick stating a factual defamatory statement regarding Drake being, the pedophile and a minor, all those things. That is left up to the jury, because both of these lawsuits are demanding a jury trial, and people in the jury are just like you. So the judge will answer questions of law while the jury answers questions of facts, and the judge will give the juries this law that I just gave you and said, listen, compare the facts of this case to this law and see if all the elements are proven. And that's how the jury will make the determination whether there's defamation or not. It's that simple. But remember, for public figures, which both Drake and Diddy are, they have to be shown with actual malice. Start off with Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us. He says, and I pull up the lyrics here, so give me a second. He says, say Drake, I hear you like them young. Remember, the statement has to be factual. Implying, that's one thing, but the actual code says it has to be alleging a factual defamatory statement. He says, say Drake, I hear you like them young. And then the last sentence, he says, trying to strike a chord, and it's probably a minor. Probably. Now, again, probably and I hear is alleging, I heard rumors. Is it really factual? Also, Kendrick Lamar's attorneys would definitely state that rap in and of itself is a genre as art, and art is just an expression, nothing factual. We've heard many rap artists say all kinds of things about themselves, about other people, That is just the actual art form itself. And I promise you, Kendrick Lamar's attorney, if there was to be a defamation suit against Kendrick Lamar regarding his performance, that's what they will allege. Like, dude, this is not factual. This is all just basically what he heard, alleging, possibly, perhaps, etc. Not factual. And also, too, another thing about Kendrick Lamar's song, that he names 4 people in that same verse. He names 3 other people besides Drake, where he said Chubbs and, let me put the lyrics here. It says Chubbs, get your hand me down, Party at the Party, which is referring to Drake's artist Party Next Door, and Baka Not Nice. Baka got a weird case. So those 3 plus Drake, that's 4 different people. So when the last line says certified lover boy, certified pedophile, who is he referring to? The second element of defamation says it has to be clear that he's referring to the actual plaintiff. You don't really know who he's referring to. It's up in the air, even though it's all just rumors anyway. That would be a tough mountain to climb. But hey, what say you guys? I mean, you guys will be the jury. And as far as Diddy goes, it's pretty much on the same lines. Actual malice will have to be proved that NBC, Universal, and Peacock and Ample, these 3 business entities actually knew that Diddy did not do these things and still put this information out. I don't know what's going to come out in discovery, but in the lawsuit, but you guys will be able to decide that, because more than likely, if you guys are in the New York area, you guys may be called for jury duty. I doubt very seriously if either one of these cases go to a full-fledged trial for a jury verdict. Typically, 98% of all civil claims settle. I don't see this being any different, but that's your defamation law. If you got any questions, hit me up. It's your brother, Attorney Jeff. I'm here for you. Peace.